Good morning, Get Well Soon family.
And happy Sunday.
This is your host, Tyler Kidd.
And your co-host, Angelina Mesa.
And we are back with season 3. We have Heart to Heart. Literally screaming. We are back better than ever. We have upped our equipment. We have upped our settings. We have upped ourselves.
On the GWS Podcast, we cover all kinds of topics. Real, raw, and honest conversations. From light to the heavy. This is an honest and open space for people to step into the shoes of other real-life human beings. We respect your values and ask for you to do the same for us and our guests. Everything created with the space of GWS comes from genuine intentions. We love you guys.
You know, we're back with another episode, and we have another guest, and wait till you guys hear her last name. Miss Melissa Gallagher. And I feel like with what we're going to talk about, people are going to be like, oh, this is like real life Shameless.
Yes, this is like real life Fiona Gallagher.
Do you get that sometimes when people like know your story and stuff and then they have your last name, or they like...
No, they always ask me like, oh, are you like normal?
Like, do you watch Shameless? Do you get like, have you watched Shameless?
Like whenever like I say my name and I'm like, yeah, like Gallagher, like Shameless sometimes.
Did you watch the show?
Yes, I did. Just because of my last name.
Yeah.
That's
Shameless.
why I watched it.
Shameless is hands down like one of the best shows to ever be made. And like this shit is crazy, but sometimes you watch it and you're like,
Relatable. Like, okay.
I'm cracking up.
I need my own TV show at this point.
You need a documentary, babe. You need a documentary with like resource links at the end of each episode. Yes, like that is really. I told you when we were talking last night, like it gives me Lifetime Movie Network. Like it gives me like one of those movies you watch and you're like, this is so crazy. This could never be real life. And then it's like, no, it is.
I swear every time I tell someone, I'm like, I swear.
Me
like,
all
I
last
promise,
night?
I'm not lying
Like
to you.
literally me all last night. You're like, and it's about to get worse.
Yeah.
You think this is bad? Wait until we turn the corner.
We're going to take it to another level.
Turn the notch up. Yeah, no, that was... We had a really great trauma dump session last night. We did. I trauma dumped a little bit back. I made you listen to some voicemail recordings. It was a really great time. Yeah. We're running off of nap time, you guys. Yes. We went to bed at like 2-something in the morning.
3 hours.
3 hours. We're running a little bit late. I forgot I had counseling in an hour. I just texted him. I said, hey, listen, I'm out here and we're filming and it's late. And so I just, peace, love.
Sorry,
we're getting the groove. I can't make it and I'm already in office. Like, how crazy is that? I'm like, go ahead, Matt, just come on and sit right here. This podcast is sponsored by New Jersey Holistic Healing and Wellness. At New Jersey Holistic Healing and Wellness, they believe that balance is the key. That's why they consider the entire person as well as the internal and external factors that affect them. They strive to maintain and restore that balance so that their clients can lead well-rounded, fulfilled lives. The difference between holistic counseling and traditional therapy is the approach taken. And as you guys always know, I cannot talk about New Jersey Holistic Healing and Wellness on my own experience enough. It truly was just the hand holding that I needed to take the steps into finding myself, fixing my traumas. And, you know, I do stand on the statement, for me personally, I'll never be depressed again. There's just certain perspectives and mindset changes that I've made that do not allow that to ever step. For me, it'll never be that bad because I see too much beauty in life, regardless of how fucking shitty things can feel.
Yeah.
And New Jersey, like being here, being able to talk to somebody who has that perspective and lean on, so like I can talk about things that I'm going through and we'll get down to the nitty gritty, but then I'm also giving the perspective of, okay, so that's real, but we also can look at it like this at the same time. And it really has helped me in my healing journey. As always, you can find them resourced in our link in bios, tagged on the video, the QR codes. And the last lady I did, she was like, you need to cut your entire family off, like that. Like, it was great. I was in my first session. She was like, they all need to be dead to you because they're gonna suck. Like, I was in there like, oh my god, like, okay, maybe, but like, what are we? And now that I've like really gotten through it, that was not the answer. It was not to cut everybody off. Like, that would have been some like toxic stuff. And so then my friend Miranda was talking about like just her healing journey, and she was like, you really should check out New Jersey Holistic. It's life-changing. And when I was doing, I think you could say like, do you prefer male or female counselor? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, and I was like, male. I was like, let's see, like, and this is what we're doing. This is what we're dealing with. And he was like,
Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa Gallagher. I'm 22 years old, and I'm a content creator that like focuses on mental health, her healing journey, being an eldest daughter. I love traveling, but that's just a little gist.
yeah, we're gonna get into. We have a little
We're gonna go into the
tidbit.
deep stuff in a bit.
Yeah, I think for you guys tuning in, listening in, I am going to give a. What is it? Is TW stand for the warning?
No. Oh, wait, yeah. Wait, no. Trigger warning. Sorry.
We never want to upset anybody. We never want for anybody to ever feel some type of way, but it's important conversations that do need to be had and should be had to be able to help people who think that they're alone understand that they're not alone. This season is heart to heart. We are stepping into other people's shoes. We're going to, and especially for you, I'm like, your shoes are different, but at the same time, like we go through a lot of different things. There's a lot of baseline emotions and mental I think perspectives that kind of come with the same thing. Like two different situations can happen, but you still can feel anger and deep-rooted anger, and so you still have to work through that, even though what caused it might be different. Or as we were talking last night, some things are like, wait, you too, like
Wait a damn minute.
Twin. And it's like not the type of twin shit you wish was your twin shit. Like it's kind of like, oh,
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry that we're relating
and
right now.
we're gonna giggle through it, but like damn. Speaking about like relating and stuff like that, do you remember when you were asked to describe yourself in 3 words? Do you remember what you put?
Oh, girl. I remember I put resilient on there. Maybe I put like empathetic because like as an eldest daughter, I tend to be very empathetic.
Okay.
And I don't know what the other word was.
You did resilient, adventurous, empowering.
Oh, okay. Empowering?
Yeah. And you are empowering because like with everything you do for social media and just like really taking the shit stick of your life and making it like a beautiful wand, and you're like, okay, now I'm going to create magic with it. Like that's like literally what you do. And I always say that people who do that, you have to be resilient, which is where that comes in. And even you could even say adventurous because like that's not a typical thing. And so to be able to like, do you remember the first time you ever posted a video that was like raw, unfiltered about what you were going through?
So I started posting on social media thinking nobody was going to see it. I didn't want to blow up. I didn't want anyone to see my stuff because it was just like a way for me to vent because I didn't have the resources to go to therapy. And so randomly, like, I was just like pouring myself out there. Like I was talking to myself. It was pretty sad.
Wait, I talked to myself without a camera, so
No, it's okay.
It's fine.
I do that on the regular, and I was like, okay, let me just like film it. I can watch it back later on. That's literally what the purpose of it was. And have it recorded. I needed like a space to like just record it and like be able to watch it back. Sometimes I talk to like my future self and I was like talking to myself. I was like, you're going to get through this. You're not going to have to live like this anymore. Then like my current self, like I literally look back on it and I'm like, wow, like I'm so proud of her. Like,
which
she
is
really
so
did
good.
that.
Round of applause. No, she was
going through it.
She
was in the
trenches. No, I don't think. It's a trench that not a lot of people go through. I mean, I think a lot of people do, but not a lot of people on like a. No, we'll get into it so you guys can. You guys are probably like, you guys keep talking about this, but like, what are the trenches? What's
the background?
Well, we will get to the background, but I wanted to not make that your introduction to the podcast. I want it to be you, because I always say you become your traumas or you become a better person because of them, and you have become like an amazing person. I mean, we met through YouTube and we had our first slumber party last night, and like the entire time I'm like, wow, like really like applaud to you for everything that you go through. Mind you, I thought she went through this like a decade, like years ago. No, we're fresh out the trenches, like a couple of years. Yeah.
It's very
well, 4, right?
Well, it would happen when I was 18 and I like officially like 21. I was like, no, like so no more. Like,
so a year ago was like your last cutoff.
Yeah.
Just talking about like social media. Do you know how many total followers you have?
On TikTok, I have like 272,000. On Instagram, it's 150,000, and on YouTube, 219,000.
I love that you know like your audiences. So you have over 640,000 followers like in total.
I was updating my portfolio. That's the only reason why I know.
It's that time of the month, everybody. You got to get that new analytics and everything like that. Yeah. No, I'm due for mine. I actually texted my friend Alex and I was like, so Sunday, you want to like Eat Wine Meal Prep, we have to do our new, like I say, their influencer cards because Media Kit is so like saturated. I'm like, let's update ours. You explain in the best words what you do with your social media platforms.
So with my social media, a lot of people will look at it like, oh my God, she's like trauma dumping. Like, you need a therapist. And I'm like, okay, I'm finally getting one through a program. But I essentially post about like my life story, the things that have happened to me, like mental health advocacy, like my healing journey, self-love, all
With
of that.
full transparency, by the way.
Yes.
Can I just say, like,
I don't sugarcoat or hide
you really
anything.
can't
I'm really just
sugarcoat.
out there. I don't mind it. I mean, I grew up my whole life not talking about these things and thinking I had to internalize them. And at 18, I was like, wait, no, something's off here. And I was like, I have to talk about these things. I have to work through them. But I never expected other people to watch me working through it.
Yeah.
And now, like, I've realized that, like, what I do now is, like, touching so many people in ways that, like, I never even thought possible. And that's something that I'm truly so grateful for, like, being able to touch people that way.
And because, like, when you were like, going through things, it kind of probably, I'm not going to assume, but it would feel like it was just you. And then you, like, talk about it online, and there's people like, no, like, my dad does this, or my mom does this, or my siblings. And it's like, that's why I always talk about creating a space online, because so many people think that they're so alienated. And then there's somebody like you that gets online, and it's like, actually, I had this and this happen to me. And no, nobody's really going to want to talk about it online, be comfortable, because as much support as you get, there's really like shitty ass people out there, and we've talked about that too, who will leave like super nasty comments and make it seem like, oh, maybe I shouldn't post that, but it is worth it. Because I always say, like, one person messaging me saying like something simple to like, oh my God, your holy girl shaving video, like, I was so insecure down there, I had all these bumps and stuff like that, thank you so much, like, now I feel confident to wear a bikini. I'm like, I love that. Obviously I know a lot, we talked a lot last night, but our viewers and listeners don't. You were made homeless by your own family at 18, had to escape. Can I reference it as a cult, like a Christian cult school?
I look back on it and I'm like, this was definitely like a cult.
It was.
It was bad.
So can you like discuss that and what your childhood was like coming up in something that now looking back as an adult, even you
very
think
concerning.
Yeah.
And at the time when I was a child, I thought that this is like what it was like for everyone. I thought it was like very normal. So for like a bit of a background about myself, to make this short, my mother like was in an abusive relationship, like a DV relationship with my father, and he was an alcoholic. And even when he wasn't drinking, he was just like very violent. He had a lot of like anger issues, and I'm pretty sure he has like a mental health disorder that's not diagnosed.
Yeah. I would say there's a couple of, I know, I'm like, let's not trauma laugh for once. There's some serious shit wrong there.
Yeah, it's very concerning. But I just had to put up with it all my life. So I'm the eldest daughter in my household. And so, like, as the eldest daughter, like, we always feel like we have to take on the responsibilities, all of the burdens. And literally, I spent a lot of my life, like, trying to protect everyone and save everyone. So I was, like, just defending my mother a lot of the time from my father, defending my siblings from my father, standing up to my father, fighting him, like, as a little kid. And so for, like, my school background, I didn't go to, like, a regular public school like everybody else. Ever since from first grade all the way to 12th grade, I graduated from this school. It was like this Protestant, like Baptist Christian school, but from like K3 all the way to 12th grade, we had like probably less than like 80 people, 100 people max in our entire school.
And was like the values being taught like hardcore, like where it's like not, I always say it's like ungodly God talk. Like it's not,
I mean,
it's
like,
to the point
I
where
feel like they had their best intentions at heart.
Okay.
But it's just not a good environment for like children to grow up in, like socially. Like I was so isolated. Like when I tell people, it was just 4 people in all of high school, including myself, and I literally like learned school in a church basement.
And they smell like a church basement smells like a church basement. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like it's like you can tell you're in a church basement.
It was
I would,
so
like,
bad.
Lose. And one of the things we were talking about, so like we went and saw our friend Candace play, and live music. You were like,
I'm 22 now, by the way. And literally like listening to live music, I was like,
what is this?
Where has this been all my life?
And when we talk about like movies and TV shows, because your family like sheltered you a lot. Like you were speaking about how you didn't even know like sunlight could come in through your house. Like what was like a
I knew sunlight existed, but I was just so sheltered growing up. I wasn't allowed to like really go outside. I was always home. The excuse was like I'm not allowed to go out because I had to like take care of my siblings and I had to be home and like do everything. And
but then they also would, like we were talking, like control what you were reading, what you were watching, what you were consuming. Like everything about your life was basically controlled, but not in a constructive way.
No, it wasn't constructive at all. It was just basically like just like controlling like every single aspect of my life, and I wasn't allowed to just like be normal. Like going to the mall was like, oh my God, like we're going to the mall, going to the movie theater. I was like, wow, like
like you were taken out of like your little indoor bubble.
Going to restaurants, like we didn't really go out to eat growing up. Like going to a restaurant, like when I like met my fiance and he took me out to eat, I was like, wow, like this is so nice. And
like you're having firsts that you should have as like a kid, but in your 20s.
Yeah.
And what would you say was like one of the most, not the most, because I'm sure like there's, when I had asked you about like struggles and stuff like that, your response was that there was too many to count, but you had put like being on my own at 18, homelessness, going and getting a nursing degree, which is what you did that amid everything else as well. And then also, you know, you actually said surviving nursing school and going no contact with your family. What would you say were the like biggest factors in, or I guess we can explain the homelessness a little bit so people understand like when we say that.
So because my mother, like it was in a domestic violence relationship, which she's still unfortunately in, he was like abusive to my mother, but then also to me because like I'm the eldest and I was always like standing up to him, like advocating, like I was always advocating for change. I was like, this cannot be normalized. Like this, we shouldn't have to put up with this anymore. And so obviously my father didn't like that. And so my child abuse accidentally got reported to like CPS because I went to a Christian camp like when I was like 12, and I accidentally told a counselor. We didn't have counselors at my school, so I didn't know that they were like legally required to report. And so ever since then, like CPS got involved with my life. My family hated me. They said that I was the cause for all of our family problems.
You sent me to a Christian camp and I confessed the sins of our house. Like that
I didn't even intentionally mean to do that.
No, because you just like, oh my God, it's so nice to actually. It's crazy that you didn't know that like a counselor because you have never had like someone to confide in, and it was the fact that you were like, no, I just was like talking to somebody for once. Like you finally had somebody to talk to.
And I didn't even like, it wasn't even a huge thing either. Like basically like in the church auditorium, like we had to sing songs and we had to stand up, sit down. There were metal chairs. And so my father had like physically like beaten me before I had gotten there. Yeah. And so like I couldn't sit up and stand up. It was painful. So I just asked my counselor if I could not do that. And she noticed that something was wrong. And then she was like prying in. She was like asking me some questions.
It's important for adults to do that.
It's very important. And I didn't know what was happening to me was necessarily wrong. I didn't understand that it was abuse. So like I just said, oh, like my father and I, like we had a fight before we left, and like it's not anything like deep. Like he's just like disciplining me like when he gets mad. And like when I described it to her, she was like, that is not discipline.
No, like your dad beat the shit out of
like,
you.
Like Miss Girl, like we shouldn't be normalizing this. And then she told me like, oh, like just to let you know, I had to report this to CPS. And when I got back from that camp, the church got involved within my family, and it truly like really it pretty much like ruined my life, because ever since then like my family,
it got worse.
Like they said, oh, you're going to be the reason your father goes to jail. Like it's going to be a huge thing. And so like ever since then, like I was living in a totally different situation, because my family hated me even more because I talked about it, because they would say whatever happens in the house stays in the house. And I didn't keep that
the most typical thing that an abusive household will say, what happens in this, don't talk to nobody, don't say nothing. And it's so crazy. Like we talk about certain things that happen that don't make people become self-aware. Like that is one of those things that would make me become self-aware. The fact that you would have to tell somebody, a child, that what happens. Okay, so then clearly something is happening in the house that's not good. And then if CPS is getting involved, you're not supposed to turn onto your kid and shit on the kid. You're supposed to be like, oh my God, like, you're right, this is really bad. Like, for the government to get involved.
I really thought that we were going to go into foster care. Like, my mother was saying, like, you need to tell them that none of this happened and that you lied, or else you and your siblings are going to get separated and you're never going to see them again and you're going to go to foster care. And yeah, I really, like, it was just really bad. And so, like, this went on for, like, a long time. I was, like, internalizing it. A lot of people didn't know my situation because I was just good at handling things. Like, I had to be, like, perfect. I couldn't let anyone know what was going on in our life. And it wasn't until, like, I was 18 and my father had gotten sick and all of these things. I had built, like, a business to, like, take care of him, like, because he had to, like, stop working and stuff, and it was doing so well. And he was just having so many issues. Like, he was, like, physically sick. Like, he had, like, an undiagnosed illness, like, had to go to the hospital, almost died multiple times.
And you literally watered the man back to life.
Yeah, I was taking care of him for, like, literally so long. Like, and because my mother didn't want to take care of him all the time. Like, she would just...
And can I just emphasize, this is the man that's literally been, like, mentally and physically abusing you your whole life.
Yeah. And so, like, for a long time, I didn't like him. Like, I hated him. But then when he started getting sick, and I was like, he's so muscular.
That's where the empathetic...
Yeah, when he got sick, he lost all of his... Like, he couldn't do things himself. Like, I was taking care of him, like... And then he also got surgery, and then, like, I was helping him go to the bathroom, helping him walk, feeding him, like... I was, like, doing everything for, like, my father, and I was, like, watching him deteriorate. And it was so, like... It, like, pained me to see. And I was like... He's human. Like, I feel
it humanized him for you.
Yeah, it humanized him for me. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and then and then those were the moments where I would hear him say, you know what, thank you. And I'm like, I've never heard that before.
And you like, oh, he's changing.
Yeah,
this
I was
is
like,
different.
Wow. Like, and then he would tell me, like, you're my favorite daughter. And I'm like, oh my God, don't let anyone else, like, hear this. Don't let my siblings hear you say that.
But, like, this is the best day of my life. What do you mean?
What do you mean? I was like, not that long ago, you were out here throwing me across the room, but, like, okay.
Yeah.
You're a changed man. I was like, okay. And so later on, it just got so bad. And
like he went back into his old habits, old ways, like the abusiveness and stuff like that.
It would just be over, like, the most minor things. They weren't, like, serious things either. Like, something, like, so remotely simple. He would just, like, have issues, like, regulating his emotions for whatever reasons, like, due to his past. And, like, he would just explode. And so, yeah, when I was 18, like, he wanted to, like, unalive me. Yeah. And I was like, this is different than all the other times.
It's progressed. Well, it's because when you also can get away with something for so long and you can, like, for him to be like, to recognize that, like, okay, you're his punching bag, you and his mom, you and your mom, but for you to, like, I don't want to assume, but if I was thinking, like, you do a really good job, and I could tell the way you were just saying it, of putting yourself in other people's shoes, which is a really big empathy thing. Yeah. And sometimes we put ourselves too far in their shoes because at the end of the day, and then they still did, and they would, and they could,
and they'll do it again,
and they
won't be sorry. So
you're sorry. Like, you put yourself in your shoes, and you're like, oh, but that's because you're an actual good person putting yourself. That doesn't mean that they are. And so I think that, like, if I were to put myself in the shoes of a very angry man who obviously, like, harms people, I would think that, like, if I'm able to do it over and over again, and then when I get sick, you come and take care of me, and then I get to do it again and again, I'm going to keep taking it further. Yeah. And then it comes to a point where it's like, how much do you take? Before getting to that at all, what business did you start while he was sick?
So I don't talk about this much on my social media.
Okay.
Because this is like...
Are you comfortable talking about it?
Yeah, no, I'm comfortable talking.
Okay.
I used to make lip glosses.
I love an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I used to make lip glosses, and then I was 17, and I had a business, and then I ended up making more money than my dad.
Wait, that's iconic.
In like a month. And then because after he made me homeless, I lost, like, my business. I couldn't manufacture, like, products and everything, and, like, I didn't want to tell people what was really going on, because I literally made that business to, like, take care of him because he was sick, and, like, I wanted to, like, help our family, and yeah, and
just always been. It's just like really crazy to me too, like knowing a good, like, not, I can't even say a good portion, because I think at the end of the day, there's certain things that you could just never really like step into, but knowing enough information about what you went through, just like, you know, when you talk online, do you talk about instances or more so of like what you went through type of thing? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you know the story you told me about the locked door? Like, do you talk about those type of things online, or just more so of like what it did for you mentally?
I talk about like both. Like I just talk about my experiences in general and what I've learned from it and how I got out of those things, because I try to not make it necessarily just trauma dumping. I try to add some kind of like hope core to it.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's what like really helps
Yes.
other people and changes other people's lives when they see that I've gone through this and I don't have to live like that anymore, and I've been able to like get out and have like a good life for myself. It's very like motivating for other people.
Can I ask you to kind of like help them really get into your shoes? Like, can you give an example of one of those moments where your dad was like abusive towards you in a way that you're comfortable with?
Okay, so like growing up, it was very like I was very used to seeing my mother crying all the time. Like he would like beat her and then she would like leave the house and she would leave us there, and I'd have to go out looking for her to make sure she'd come back, because I didn't know if she would just up and leave us. She would talk about it all the time, and I'm like, listen, I love my siblings, but I'm a child.
Yeah,
I
like,
can't.
don't leave me.
And I was like, don't leave me here with him. Like, please take me with. Like, girl, like,
like if we're jumping ship, babe, I'm jumping with you, mom.
I'm with
like,
you.
let's
Like,
go.
I'll pack your bags. Like,
We'll sneak out. We'll do the whole. We'll change our identities.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it.
I was like, I'm with all of that. And so, like, I was just used to, like, seeing him do that to her, and, like, broken glasses. Like, I would clean up, like, her blood from the floor, like, all of these things. And so, like, I was just used to it. Every time I could hear, like, he was having an attitude and I knew, like, a fight was going on, I'm outside the door and I'm, like, listening if I have to go in and intervene. Like,
so your fight or flight as a young child is, like, locked and loaded at all times.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure, like, I was like, you are not going to be doing anything to my mom. That number one, that's my mom. My mom, my mother and I have issues, but I was like, at the end of the day, like, no, you can't be doing this.
Yeah.
And then because I was growing up and doing that, my father didn't like that. And so he would, like, take it out on me, and I just, like, yeah, it was. So for me, like, my father would, like, it wasn't like slapping or like regular hitting. Like, the mother, that man would like punch me.
Like you were another grown man.
Yeah, like I was just like throwing like a doll across the room, like that type of stuff. Like I would have like bruises on my sides because like he would throw me at the doorknob and I would get like bruises there. Or like it was just like I couldn't even like sleep in my bed. I had to like, I was always hiding behind the couch, like as a child, or like in the closet underneath my sister's bed because my father had a bad back and he couldn't get to me under there. So it was just like I was constantly living in fight or flight. And so
like, how do you have like problems like that? Like I'm a very visual person, so I'm picturing somebody with back problems putting in this much effort to hurt a kid.
Because at the time, like, we had like a bunk bed, and so I'd be at the top, and like he couldn't necessarily like just go up there and get me. 'Cause he was like a big man, but I was just so scared because like I could like he could still like try to grab me. So I would be underneath our bed, like behind my sister's like little drawer of where she would have clothes. It would be underneath the bunk bed, and there would be this little space, and I would crawl into this hole, be under there. I'd have a pillow and a blanket. My siblings would like give me my food under there because I wouldn't come out. It was something.
I'm trying not to laugh. You can't start laughing. Like
I'm sorry.
No, you can. No, anybody. If this is like your first time watching, you guys you'll get hip to it. The trauma dump always comes with the giggles. Like, you have to laugh through it. But I'm like sitting here and I'm like, you like hid like a hamster like in your own home as a kid. That's like the dark humor me. But on a serious note, one, I'm really sorry, and I know that as somebody with like older sister trauma, you don't ever, it's like, okay, thank you. Like, yeah, like, you know, like sympathy and pity is like, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't want sympathy or like pity for any of it.
But just like hear my story and use
Yeah.
it to make sure that you don't end up like that, or you don't do these things,
or
if
you
you're
can get out of it. Like, you don't have to live like that, because a lot of people when they grow up like this, they end up of like going to abusive relationships, or they think that they have to like live like this, they deserve this, and they self-sabotage. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, I don't want to live like my father or like my mother. I don't want to have that be my life. And at the end of the day, we're all going to die one day. I don't want that to be like my life story.
No. I said this the other day talking to myself, because like I was having like a moment and I was like, I'm not going to be a tragedy. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't go through what I went through to fucking end up a tragedy. Kim, it's not her quote, but she says it, like, I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Yeah.
Absolutely no. Because then what was it all like? What did I just go through all this for, just to end up in a similar situation, or with a husband the same, or, you know, things like that.
I'm not putting up with any of that.
But I'm glad that you are starting therapy, because for you to have to experience that, like making sure that you're at elevated surfaces so your father can't get you to throw you across the room. Yeah. And the fact that it was you and like your mom, but just you out of your siblings and not your other siblings.
My siblings and I like have an age gap, and then so they were a bit younger. Like I grew up with my father telling me that he hates me and that I should unalive myself. And I would ask him like why he wouldn't do these things to my siblings, and he would tell me like, oh, because I love them. And so ever since I was younger, I realized like my father doesn't love me. So then later on when I got older and he became sick and I was the only one taking care of him and everything, and then he tells me he loves me, I'm like, oh wow, like this is a new chapter.
You were like,
this is a changed man. I was like, maybe this illness is doing something.
Making him realize all the fucked up shit that he's done and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so like when he made me homeless at 18, like I was couch surfing, dealing with all of that. And eventually like he apologized, said that he would change, that like he would like work through it.
And you want to believe it because it's not like you
hopeful.
don't want to love, like you want to be loved by your father and your mom and be in your family with your siblings and for it to like work out and not be like how it was before.
Yeah, to be clear, like I loved my family. Like in the inside, I feel like I still do love parts of them, but I'm trying to make sure that like I prioritize myself. No one wants to just grow up hating their father or hating their mother. Like I don't hate them even after everything. Like I just
like you wish
feel bad.
you wish you didn't have to go no contact.
Yeah. That's.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So after I became homeless the first time, my father was going to change. He did change for a certain amount of time. Like he started talking to me, texting me, asking me how my day is. I'm like, this is strange. I can't.
This is effort. His actions are matching.
He would text me saying like, oh, I love you. And I would get so weirded out by that. And I'm like, this man has never told me that before. And it's documented through text. I'm like, this is crazy. And so like.
You're like sitting there reading the text. You're like, am I reading this? I'd be like checking the number to the name to
I'm like,
the number.
let me translate this into another language just to make sure.
Just to make sure that I'm reading the words I love. Which is on a real level that is so crazy because that's what I always talk about, childhood development. And so like to grow up.
Without love. And you don't know what love is. You see it in movies, but you've never like experienced it.
Not for you because you weren't even able to watch the movies with it in it.
I was only allowed to like watch like cartoons or like little like Disney movies, like princess movies and stuff. Nothing with like real people, like Hannah Montana or like real people things. Like I wasn't allowed. Good Luck Charlie, I wasn't allowed to watch that either.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Good Luck Charlie, you just brought me back to that. That's crazy. I forgot about that show.
I remember I used to see it when I used to scroll through like the TV and I'd try to play it. My mother would be like, turn that off. Put on a cartoon. Put on PBS Kids.
PBS Kids was good though too.
Yeah, it was good.
But like maybe because you talk about how like it took you to 18 to be like, I think something's wrong here. Like I don't think
like later on like watching TV shows like behind their back saying that I was studying.
Yeah,
it wasn't. And so like I mean like at least like I kind of like educated myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so like my father ended up of like trying again. And he almost died again on my 19th birthday. I was in the hospital with him. Like, I was going out of work, like, visiting him, taking care of him when he would come back and everything. And mind you, like, he didn't live where I was at. They had, like, moved already. So I would see him, like, here and there. But my mother stopped taking care of him. And then I had to, like, fulfill those shoes.
I think your mom's fed up. I think she's like, dude, I'm done. Like,
she's really worn out. Like, I understand, like, at the end of the day, my mother is, like, a victim of everything. But that doesn't necessarily like excuse. Like I can understand from an empathetic perspective, but it doesn't excuse.
Like okay, like but exactly by stand by and know what's happening to your kids and like
I understand
yourself
why,
too.
Because also she grew up like this. Like she had an alcoholic, like abusive father. So I can understand.
There's a difference between having empathy and understanding versus like there still being the awareness and the facts of like, okay, we talked about this. Like, you did do this, and that based off of, and it's
XYZ.
And for you to be able to see that, it shows more of the kind of character that you are because you're like, a lot of people wouldn't. They'd be like, no, fuck you because you did this and like, that's it. You're somebody that you're like, okay, I understand why you did that. Like, I'm empathetic for that. But at the same time, you still did A, B, and C to me. And now that caused X, Y, and Z for myself.
I had to learn how to like set boundaries for myself because in the beginning I was just super empathetic. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I know why you do this and like we can work through this, we can change this. And I was just a child. Like I shouldn't have had to be my parents like therapist or anything, but I like thought it was my responsibility to like change our family, like fix us, like make us a loving family that I feel like I like would hear about or like watch in like some of the movies.
And that it was your role to have to do that.
Not like the adults, but I
like
thought it was on me to do this. Yeah.
Like your whole life. And then finally, and like now that you're, you know, you're a couple years out, you're 22.
And I'm like, no.
You went through the homeless, you're not homeless anymore. You're engaged. You're like, I would say you're really, you're up and up. You're doing the thriving. I would say like you are thriving.
Yeah.
Things are still rough, but you really are. Do you like look back at that and you're like what is like, I don't know. Sometimes I look back at things that I did like growing up and I'm like, oh, like damn. And like,
that's tough.
And then realizing like what you carry it with.
Yeah.
But I also feel like after talking to you, you've done a really good job of like taking it all and turning it into how you said like
good,
hope core, like
I need to make this into a purpose or something. Like I can't let all these bad things happen to me and then that's what it is. My life. And
you silver line it all. Like, you have to silver line things. Yeah, I say that a lot.
I need something like beautiful or something good to come out of it. At the end of the day, like I understand that all my situations, like me talking about it is like helping other people, and so like me talking about these situations helps other people, and like that's I feel like maybe this is what I'm meant to do.
I said, I think that I was traumatized the way I was so that when people trauma dump on me, I'm able to give back. Like you guys, I have not taken a Lyft or an Uber yet in the city that I haven't had the man trauma dump on me. Except the last one I took, he barked at me.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, but no.
Bark back.
No, I just like he was talking about like 20 minutes prior. He was talking about like scaring people. And so when he was like, you ever heard of like, it was some weird joke and I like knew something. I was in the front seat. I had 3 of my girlfriends in the back seat and I was like, and he just started barking at me and I just was like texting. I looked at him and I was like,
what is happening?
You can't scare me. I've been in fight or flight since I was like 8 years old.
Yeah, like we've been through this.
Yeah.
Like, come up with something new.
I didn't jump scare. Come on. You know what?
You gotta do better than that.
You ever been made to flinch? Like when somebody jumps at you, like don't even, no, I'm not flinching. I passed the test. Don't even start. No, it is, but you do like a really good job at speaking, especially because, and we kind of like briefly went over it, but didn't the whole no contact. So, you know.
Yeah, so after like my father like got out of the hospital, things were okay. And then he just literally had like an episode and to where like I was like, basically he got angry because he said he didn't say something, but I grew up recording these things. I was like, you're not going to tell me you didn't say anything. But
like manipulate you.
Yes, I was like, I'm not crazy. I know you said this. I played it for him. He went to go break my phone saying that I'm not allowed to record him and all these things. And he was calling
I had something like this happen to me growing up.
He called me like a punk ass kid just because I told him like no to something. And then when I was like, you know what, I'm going to step away. I'm not dealing with this right now.
Yeah.
You need to calm down. I went to the room and I heard him like he was so mad. And then I locked the door. That man broke the door and there was a mirror on the back. The mirror shattered and he was like threatening to like unalive me and saying my mother's going to find my body here. And I was like, oh, because my mother was like in another state and he was just here for his hospital trips and stuff. And I was like, I can't, no one is here. And at the end of the day, like I made sure to like record because like if I didn't, my mother would tell me, oh, that never happened. Oh, you just made that up. And I'm like,
even though the same stuff was happening to her to where she obviously knows that it's not made up. Like you don't even need all, and that's where you say like, I understand because it was like you were also getting like domestically abused and stuff like that. But you knew that I was too.
It was draining for me because I was like, you're my mom. I love you, but I'm defending you. But then for me, you don't do anything. You just let him do it.
And you fight me for defending you.
Yeah, and then you say that I'm just making this up. Meanwhile, I know damn well.
I feel it. I feel like my ass can't sit in a metal chair. Like it's so crazy too that people will really try and say like, no, that didn't happen. No, that's crazy. No, I didn't say that. And you're like, this isn't like a one-time instance. Like this has been years and years and years of the same thing. I'm pretty sure I haven't hallucinated my entire life.
Yeah.
You guys might be hallucinating.
You guys are living in La La Land.
I'm not. No, I'm very much in real fucking life. Like where it's like I'm so self-aware it's ruining my life.
Yeah,
actually,
really.
And being so self-aware of your mom, like what she went through
ever since I was younger, I was like, you know what? Like, I know that you had to live like this, but at the end of the day, we can work through this. We can change. And I'm telling her.
And did she have to live like that? You know, like there's so many like,
at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that go into it because my mother is like an immigrant and my father isn't.
It's not
like,
black and white. It's
yeah,
not easy.
It's not super easy. Like there's just like so much that goes into it. And then eventually after that instance where I became like homeless again, I had like lost everything. I was sleeping at work, like at the park, like sidewalk sometimes, like navigating everything, like going to nursing school. I was working 2 jobs. Like I made sure
can we talk about
busy.
during all of this? Miss Ma'am is going to nursing school.
I had to do it because like at the end of the day, I knew that nobody was going to come save me. I had to pull myself out of this. And I was like, I have to be a nurse. I was like, I have to do this because I have to like, I was like, you can do this. You can do this. You need to get that degree. And then you're going to become a nurse and you're going to have financial stability. You're going to get out of this.
And you're also like, I think a lot of people who go into medical with really good intentions, like you have to have a want for helping other people. Like,
yeah, that's initially why I chose nursing. I'm also like Filipina. I'm like mixed.
Yeah.
And so because of that, like a lot of us become like nurses, especially like as an eldest daughter. They see you and you're a girl and you're a Filipina. Nurse.
Really? I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a thing, yeah. A lot of us.
Wait, why? Because I know like in certain like I don't like to use the word like first of all, I can't even say it. Race, that stuff, because I'm like, I don't like ethnic. I'm like, to me, you're just a person. So I actually don't know like the right proper word you're supposed to use. But I do know in certain cultures we can say like, oh, you're doctors. Oh, like there is that type of stereotype.
Filipina eldest daughters, like it's a huge thing. Like they just expect us like to become nurses. Like,
is Monet McMichael?
Yes, she did nursing.
Is she Filipino? What is she?
No,
she's mixed. Is she mixed?
I think she's Puerto Rican or Dominican or something.
I'm probably gonna cut that out because I don't want to speak about her race. Okay. But I was just like wondering. I was like, I wonder if that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But for us, like a lot of Filipinos like become nurses.
So yeah, so you're like home. I need to stop hitting this. It's gonna irritate me. Okay, so you're homeless. You're sleeping sidewalks, cars, the whole 9. You're at this point. You're in no contact with your family.
No, I was actually still in contact with them.
And they're all you have.
I wanted to fix them. I thought that I could fix them. And I was like, I should, like, my current self would have been like, girl, you could barely fix your life. You don't even know where you're going to sleep tonight. Like,
but you were trying to save everybody.
Yeah. I was like, we have to fix this, like, for my siblings. Like, I was like, I don't want them to grow up like this. Like, I was like, they shouldn't have to deal with this. But at the same time, like, they didn't grow up abused in the same sense. Like, they definitely deal with like some stuff, but not like physical in the way that I grew up. And especially now, like my father's a lot older. He doesn't have all of the same life stresses as before that I had to deal with. So he's a lot more chill and mellow now. And I'm like, I couldn't get that version of you, but okay.
But good for them. There's levels to it though.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter how stressed you're supposed to be. It's never supposed to go that far.
Yeah.
So when you're like, yeah, now he's mellow, and now like my siblings, they all have like normal lives and everyone's normal. It's like, why did we even have this? Why did we even get here? If this was possible, so if this is possible the entire time, why
couldn't we just get to this?
Why put it like?
So basically, like, I grew up, like, in this cold space. I was sheltered my whole life. I could barely, like, go outside, like, do anything. Like, I had to be home all the time to take care of my siblings.
Which is probably where that mindset comes from of you have to fix everything because your family literally chained you inside. Not actually, I mean, I don't know if they use chains,
no,
but
not chained.
Not actually changed, but metaphorically, they chained you inside.
Yeah.
It was, oh my God, you were, who's the princess that got put up in the attic? Cinderella?
Shut up. No, yeah.
And then your glass slipper and your Prince Charming.
No. Oh my God, am I Cinderella?
You're Cinderella with
Shut up.
Instead of like the evil stepsisters and stepmom, it's just like evil dad and like
damn.
Somewhat not their mom, like not be that is rough. And like put in the attic and the Cinderella had to clean, cook,
do everything,
fix their lives. The daughters came home crying, fix their dresses, whatever. Then you finally you are Cinderella because then you got out and you got your glass slipper.
I got out of it though because they made me homeless. And then so like for a long time I was trying to like fix everything.
Do you want to elaborate on that? What you mean by made you homeless? Like
so like when my father like threatened like my life and everything, I couldn't keep being there. I was like, we can't take it to this level. I'm like, before you used to like beat me growing up, okay, but you threatening to like end I was like, no, we can't, like,
and physically coming towards you, like, breaking doors down,
I was
stuff.
like, I'm depressed and everything, and sometimes I feel like I don't want to be here, but like, you're threatening murder right now. I was like, we can't do that.
And the fact that it like could happen and nobody's gonna stop, like your mom's not gonna step in.
My mother would like literally say like, oh, she deserved that. Like at the end of the day, it would be my fault.
Just like completely brainwashed.
Yeah. And so like eventually like I was just like couch surfing, like my man who's like now my fiance now, like he was like looking out for me, and then eventually like he said, I don't want you to live like this anymore. It's like paining me.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm gonna get us like a new place and everything. And so he signed a lease and everything, and then like
your glass slipper.
I was like because of my background, I was like, I need to be wary. I'm going with like this
walls
man.
are up.
I was like, I need to be careful. Like, I was just like being protective of myself, but I feel like I self-sabotaged a little bit. But my fiance, he's like,
he stuck it through. He saw the big picture. He was like, listen, she's a little rough on the edges, but due to very valid reasons. Like when you hear why the edges are rough, you're like, oh. Yeah.
When I had to introduce him like to my family, like my father had a gun when he met him.
Yeah.
And my father like threatened to throw him out like the window of like a building. And yeah, so like my fiance like he didn't grow up like that. And so when he got into it, he was like, oh.
Like me last night when you were telling me things, I'm like, oh, I understand.
No, but
I understand. You can
understand from like relatability. He had no relatability.
Oh, so it's like talking to somebody who like grew up like like not that everybody has their own stuff.
His parents are divorced, but they didn't have like that.
He wasn't getting mentally, physically abused.
Yeah,
not on like a level to where it's like you talk to people and they go, oh, you get
so
sorry. You know when you get the. I know you might think that it's normal, but it's not. No, actually, I don't think it's normal. I'm very aware of the fact that this is not normal. I'm glad that we could all, okay, so I understand what you're talking about.
So, he was, like, getting thrown into, he was like, I can't keep watching you live like this. And he was like
something needs to give.
He knew, like, he was like, you were such a good person. You don't deserve this. Like, he was like, I'm going to, like, do this for us and, like, everything. And I was just like, okay, let's be wary. I don't want to be like my mother and get myself into a bad situation. I was, like, on guard and everything. And I was like, I'm still going to be an independent baddie. Like, I'm not going to let my
biggest thing
or anything.
Good for you, though.
Yeah, so, like, I wanted to say boundaries. The number one fear for me was turning out like my mother. I was like, I'm not going to be a victim and anything else. I'm never going to let a man treat me this way.
I'm not going to get stuck. That was something you had said. I'm not going to get stuck again.
I don't want to be stuck again. And so when I started living with him, he was just so good to me. And I was like, this is not...
Does it feel
like, the
weird?
shit is going to hit the fan eventually, right?
You're waiting for the ball to drop.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Because it can't be this good.
Yeah.
You can't be taking care of me. Dude, and it's like so crazy. And I was talking off camera about like resetting my nervous system and stuff like that. Like I have to be 10 steps ahead of everybody because I have to be able to control the situation at any which way it goes.
Be prepared.
And I'm like starting to learn how to take myself out of that. But like no matter what, I'm such a scenario player. So when I'm in a comfortable environment where someone's like really taking care of me, I have to think of every single way that they're going to do the opposite.
Yes.
Right now, in 10 minutes, in an hour, in 15 hours, in 2 days, in a week, in a month, in a year, like I have
planning out everything. You're in fight or flight.
So where you're not even experiencing anything that's actually happening, life, and you're almost not even and you're not accepting how like nice somebody can like, wait a second, you're really taking care of me right now.
Yeah.
And I can't even accept it because I'm trying to think of which way you're going to hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like on my guard. I was like protecting myself. And then I realized like, wow, like he's a really good guy. And I was like, I don't want to mess this up. Am I going to mess this up? And I was like,
am I going to like cuckoo for goat? Like, am I going to like take it a little too far with the craziness?
Yeah.
But that's also important too is people think that like, okay, if somebody loves me, that means that they're going to work with me on me. And I always say like love's not enough. It shows the character of him because a lot of people will walk away or a lot of people will make it worse or a lot of people whatever. And it's kind of like I think a lot of people expect their partner to be perfect when they meet them, and that's just really not realistic, especially the older that you get. Like, I feel like once you're in your 20s, like, it's not like you're...
We all have issues and flaws.
And the more you get older, the more your baggage starts to get, some people's baggages
can get heavier.
Some need multiple suitcases. I would say you probably need, like, a carrying team.
I need a whole plane full of cargo.
Yeah, you're like, this is a private jet, bitch. There's nobody else's shit on here. And so, like, when you're with people, I think you love somebody so much, it's like, okay, it shows a lot for somebody to want to work, like, on, like, he saw what you were going through, and he was like, I'm going to work through it with you, because you said you even tried to, like, self-sabotage, or you felt like it, you were saying.
He had his own issues that he was dealing with, but mine were, like, more profound, but I feel like I was doing a decent job at, like, handling them, because I was, like, super self-aware, and I was like, I really don't want to mess this up. But there would be times, like, where, like, I would act a certain way, and I'd be like, I'm so sorry. This is my trauma right now. I'm like...
It's peaking. Yeah, I'm sorry. She's coming out.
I'm sorry I let her out. Like, let me zip her back in her little bag and put her away.
And it's like... And when you know that it's not you, not that it's embarrassing, but it almost is like... It's because it's like, oh my God, I didn't want her to come out. It's like, oh my God, I didn't want you to see her. Sorry. Let me put her in the far back. She doesn't come out often.
But since day one, like, he knew of, like, my family situation. Like, I made that clear.
Well, the way that you met, too, with everything else going on in your life, like that.
Yeah. And on our first date, it was, like, 19 hours. Like, we just talked for 19 hours.
Oh, you guys are
It was a therapy session for me, honestly. I was like,
so you gave him up front. You're like, and this is what we're dealing with. And he went,
like, just to let you know, I didn't want to date him.
Shit is real. Which
I never wanted to
You became
date
friends first. You became really good friends first, I would say.
Yeah, he was truly there for me. Like, and at the point, like, where I was going through all that stuff in my life, a man could, like, easily take advantage and
because you were at a really weak
ruin
point.
My life, but he didn't. I mean,
no, he built you. He helped build you up.
Minimum.
Like,
you shouldn't be ruining a woman's life, but he really, like, he was always there. For
I just realized what you said.
Depend on. He was just, like, building me up every day. He would tell me, like, oh, I'm beautiful. Like, I can do this. Like, you're capable of so many things. And I'm like, stop lying to me right now. Like, shut up.
And then eventually, you stay with it consistently. That you actually, like, you learned to believe it
so much that I learned to believe it, and then I started telling those things to myself.
And, like, learned that you can be loved and to love yourself.
My whole life, I thought it was impossible for someone to love me or, like, treat me right. And then when I met him, I was like,
I'm still dealing with that. That I don't, like...
You will find your person, like, eventually. I mean, my best friend will always tell me that the dating pool is just terrible now. I think I truly got lucky. Like, he popped out of the...
and that's, like, I think how it happens. Like, I'm not stressed. Like, I know that whatever...
You can always just be on your own, too.
And I am so good on my own, but I will say, when you do it on your own for so long...
You're just used to it.
You're used to it, but I just, like, can't wait to be able to not have to do it on my own. Like, I just can't wait to, like, relax. Yeah. But I also don't allow myself to in situations where I can. So it's, like, it's on me as much as it is, like, on the universe to give. Like, I feel like you can't... Is the universe going to give me something like that if I'm rejecting it 24/7? Like, no.
Open to it in a way, and... Like, for my fiance, like, he was just, like, so understanding. He had his own things that he had to work through.
Everybody does.
Everyone does. And, like, for me, I was understanding of that. He was understanding of my situation. And he had just never seen anything like that before. And he was like, I don't want you to live like this anymore. This is, like, you shouldn't have to live like this.
Which is good for you, because you didn't have anybody to tell you that wrong was wrong. Like, and, like, well, at that point,
it was all normal for me. It was just, okay, this is my life. I have to...
Oh my God, you are Cinderella.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't even know what was happening to me was, like, abuse, because I was, like, just so sheltered and in my, like, little, like, cold school.
Do you feel like that they sheltered you for that reason, or was it for
my father growing up? He's a felon currently, but, like, he, like, was a drug dealer. He, like, was, like, a huge alcoholic. Like, he was having so many issues. He was so bad. And so when my mother is not from America, she's from the Philippines, she didn't know what life was like here. Okay. And so when she came here and they eventually had me, unfortunately, like, my father didn't want me to go to public school because he didn't want me to turn out like him. But in fact, you turned out. I am not my father at all.
No, like, you're not your father or your mother.
I mean, I have my father's rage. Obviously, it comes out, but, like, I
have my mother's rage.
Still to this day, I don't drink alcohol. I'm 22. I don't drink alcohol. Like, special occasions. I'm not crazy like that anymore. I'm really in my like
because
self-love healing
you didn't
era.
become your traumas. You took your traumas and you're like, and watch this.
Yeah.
You want to see a power play,
Like,
bitch?
flip the page.
Look at my life. Because like speaking about your life, so like you do. Actually, before we jump into that, because I do want to talk about like, you know, giving a good amount of backstory. If you guys check out any of her socials, I'll have it tagged. She speaks very publicly about all the things that she goes through. But I always say, like, with the episode, I like to also show the positive, and you like to do that too. So I took note that you do like to travel, and that's like something that brings. But before jumping into that, I wanted to do our rapid fire. But yeah, so as you guys know, we started fun like backstory. So season 1, we started a Reddit page and we got like 2 anonymous submissions. And we also had like an anonymous Facebook thing. And so I was like, what if we just simplified it? Maybe we would get more anonymous submissions. So we got rid of the Facebook group, came just like the community group, got rid of the Reddit, and I started an anonymous submission form for season 2, and we got 60 something anonymous submissions.
Oh my God.
It was like people were talking about their cousins. It was crazy. And I feel so bad because we filmed an episode where we talked about them all. Who do you think's the better cook between us?
I don't know if you cook like that though.
I can't like bake.
Okay, so maybe me.
Yeah, I can't do that. I burn everything.
I became homeless. That's when I started like cooking because she just wanted to be in the kitchen by herself. She didn't want.
It was
anyone
her
near
safe place.
Yeah, she was like, no one steps foot
in my kitchen.
We're getting like water from the fridge. Get out.
She's like at her breaking point 24/7. The anonymous submission, it's like rapid fire. It's like actually rapid trauma dump. Do you have a person on Facebook that you like but disagree with a lot of what they say on there?
Anything like from those Trumpy people, and that's why I try not to like use Facebook.
I unadd them.
Yeah,
I will unadd like my grandmother if I have to. She's not. Facebook. My grandmother is like, if you actually go, her social media has become like a Donald Trump hate page. You like look at her things.
That dedication.
Oh, she's dedicated day in and day out. Dude, we're driving to Myrtle Beach on a 12-hour drive last year, and they're in front of us because we all like drive in a line. And I go on Facebook, and she is sitting passenger princess with my grandfather, supposed to be helping you with the directions, and she's like going off on Facebook about Donald Trump, and I'm like, even on vacation, she's still slaving on that. She never, day in and day out. I was like, Mom, Grandmom's posting right now about Donald Trump. She's like, what? Right now while we're driving? And I was like, yep, on our way to family vacation. She's like posting memes about him. She's clocked in
on the hour. Yeah,
I love her. I love her life. Ever liked and then later unliked someone's photo on Instagram?
Yes, because I was stalking and I was like, oh my God,
you accidentally liked it?
Yeah.
Do you think the notification still gets sent to them?
I don't know, but this was like a very,
can we test
very long
it?
time ago. No, you can test it.
No, like on me. Like one of my photos and then unlike it, and I want to see if I still have the notification.
I mean, but at the end of the day, like, we're creators, so it like we get a ton of like notifications.
Was it another creator?
No, it was just like a while ago, like when I was like a teenager and stuff.
Okay.
Like, I would just like
I don't look at my likes.
Best friend and stuff, and I was like,
well, I do sometimes though. Like I'll like them. See, I do have toxic tendencies. I have at points done that for them to know that I'm stalking.
Girl, yeah, you're on another level.
No, not now. Not as much now. This was like myself. Okay, so did you do it?
No, I'm gonna do it.
Okay,
your notifications on. And
I'm gonna see.
So,
okay, go ahead. It should pop up, I think.
And then I just unliked it.
Okay, so it didn't pop up, but it would pop up in my. Let me see.
Okay, let me do it again.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I did it. I'm undoing it.
No.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Iconic. So
was I safe this whole time?
I think you were safe. I think you've been safe this whole time. I truly do. I think you're doing good. My saffron, I'm building an apothecary and my herbs are en route. Because I just decided that I really need to self-medicate because these copays, pharma, I'm over you.
Yeah, we're done.
I don't like.
You're bankrupting me.
I have to get off my mom's health insurance at 26. I'm like, now I'm just gonna
this whole time, like, that's the reason why I didn't get therapy, because
it's
I didn't
so
think
expensive.
I didn't think, because my father was going out on like disability from his job. I didn't know if we still had health insurance.
Yeah.
And everything with like him being sick. And then my mother would just tell me I'm not covered. And so for the longest time, I wouldn't go to the doctor. I wouldn't get anything. And then next time, like, she would just text me and I'd be like, okay, so I'm going to get my glasses. And she was like, oh yeah, you can get your glasses through the insurance. I was like, what do you mean?
Oh, you have vision.
Yeah.
So I don't have vision.
Yeah, and like because my father worked at a hospital and stuff, like not in like the healthcare, but like as an engineer and stuff.
Okay.
And so like eventually then I found out I had health insurance. I was like, did I have coverage this whole time?
Entire time?
Yeah. And
did you?
She did that multiple times to me. So to this day, I don't have health insurance that I know of, but I thought it doesn't expire until you're 26. So I could still be covered, but guess what? I'm not messaging them to find out.
Yeah, because you're currently no contact.
Yeah, currently. So I started no contact when I was like 19. I was going to take custody of my siblings, and I was like 19, going to nursing school, working 2 jobs. I was like, I have the space to take care of them. Even my fiance, he wasn't my fiance at the time. We were only together for like probably a year, and he was just like, I'm ready to do this with you. I was like, you don't have to, you know that, right? Like, I don't want to, like...
You're like, this is like really big. You're like,
I was like, becoming a stepdad? I was like, no, we're not. I was like, and he was like, I would do it. Like,
yeah.
And he loved my siblings, and he was like, they're really cool.
And he understood what was like on the table.
He was ready to do all of that and pour that all out for me. I was like, oh my God, this man really does care about me. And I was like, wow, like green flags. But I was still being wary. And then I gave my siblings like the option because they had finally gone to a regular school, had a regular life, made friends. And I didn't want to like uproot them.
Again.
And even if it could have been best for them, like I was 19 and I didn't want them to hate
me. And are you still in nursing school?
I graduated last year.
At the time that you were doing the...
Oh, yeah. I was still, like, I was in nursing school. And I was making good money because, like, I was in the city, like, working as a store manager. And I was getting, like, almost $30 an hour, just from that one job.
Wow. That's actually really...
At 19, yeah.
I think that's really good.
And I was literally just saving up my money. I would never spend it on anything. I was, like, so cheap and everything because I didn't know if I needed my money for, like, a rainy day, if anything fell through.
Yeah.
And, like, at that time, I was like, I'm making money. Like, I can take care of my siblings. Like, do you want me to do this? And they said, no, we finally have friends now. Like, I don't want to, like...
Can you imagine your life if you did take custody of them now?
It would not
be what it is.
And I think, like, it's very sad to think of because I didn't want to lose out my siblings. Like, I loved them. I still do. Mm-hmm. But they're not the same anymore. They've grown up and they've changed a lot. Like, before they were, like, very young. And
there's only so much you can really do to where it's to the point that now they have to do it for themselves the same way you had to do it for yourself.
Yeah, and, like, at this point, like, I know that, like, at least my sister she hates me because I left, but it's like I didn't have a choice in doing that.
No, you quite literally did not have a choice.
Like, I didn't voluntarily become homeless and everything.
No, and have to, like...
I very much would have liked to have somewhere to
You actually very much you would come back and, like, really try.
I tried.
Nursed your dad back. You literally could have let your dad die. And you were like, no, I brought him back to life so that we could try again. And, like...
I didn't want to, like... And also, like, because of that night, like, it was in November when he made me homeless again. I had a knife for protection.
Yeah.
And I was so scared. I didn't want to use it on him, but I was just so scared. I ran out of the apartment barefoot, like nothing. And I was just roaming the street. I was crying. I was just going to go to the park and cry in the dark. And there was an ambulance there, and the ambulance found me. And they called the cops, and the cops took the knife from me. They did a whole report. And they asked if I wanted to press charges. And I was like, my father's sick. He just got out of the hospital a week ago.
Yeah.
If I do this, my mother's going to hate me. She's going to blame me. And
it's so crazy because
he's going to die.
Because not the right answer, but like, yeah, like there should have been consequences, but at the same time, you're not thinking that because you want your family to be together. So for your sister now to be like, you left whatever and like be mad at you, it's almost like, okay, if you're going to hate me, you're going to hate me.
At the end of the day, like if I had decided to press charges, like my father's like illness was like based on like stress and like a lot of the foods that he was eating and everything. Like that would have been so stressful. Like he could have like died where he was, and I didn't want to be responsible for that because at the end of the day, like my family would be like, oh, you killed him. Because I held him accountable for what he did. So I didn't do that. I chose to, like, just forgive him, and I was going to try again. Eventually, I went no contact. And for, like, years, actually. It wasn't until last year when I was 21, I broke no contact because I had just gotten engaged. I graduated nursing school.
Once again, you want them to be in your life. You want to have your family.
Yeah, because it's, like, those were huge, like, family, like, moments. Like, getting engaged, graduating nursing school. I watched everyone have their family in their corner.
Congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you. Like, I watched everyone, like, have their family in their corner, and I was just like, I don't
But you wanted
that.
Yeah, and you're like, and the craziest thing is it shouldn't be you reaching out to reconcile.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be you to, like, the oldest daughter. It's always got to be.
Always me. Yeah. And then so ended up of reconciling. It lasted 3 weeks, and it all went south because I had gotten my mother a dishwasher because they basically treat her like a slave in the house. She does literally everything. Mind you, she's working full time. My father's like he's basically like retired, like out on disability. He doesn't work, but yet they make my mother do everything. I saw like her situation. I was like, let me get you a dishwasher to like unload everything, like have like something. And he literally was gonna throw it out the window and was like threatening to like beat me and her.
Because you bought your mom a dishwasher to help her with.
I got it on Facebook Marketplace, but like, he was like threatening to do all of that. And then
you being like, I got it on Facebook Marketplace, but like, no, you got your mom a dishwasher.
I still did, yeah. And literally, so when I came back, they had this room that like my sister ended up flooding it with like the toilet. It got so ruined. I went back and my fiance and I, we literally rebuilt that whole room. We spent the time putting in the flooring, repainting everything, like getting furniture, like mind you, they live like far away. So we were like transporting everything in the car. Like we made a whole room in there. It's the nicest room in the house.
That's insane.
We rebuilt that whole thing. That's why we were there like for like 3 weeks, like building all of that. And then in doing that, I got like them the dishwasher as an addition, and my father lost it. And like I noticed like I was having like a body response. Like I was having a panic attack, and I didn't know, like, because I didn't necessarily before have panic attacks. I was very good at managing. And that time like I was brought back, and then I realized I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, no. Like
and you had been out kind of almost enough to the point now, and being with your fiance, he's showing you enough
I was like,
normalcy.
I don't have to live like this. No. And I was like telling my mother, I remember like hugging her and leaving her goodbye. I was like, you can come with me, like, you know that, right? Like I will take care of you. I was like, I don't care, like I'll.
And she could have. Yeah. That's the thing, is like she could have came with you.
And I have the space to like take care of her, like all of these things. I was like, I will pay for everything that you need. Like I will take
give
care
her
of you.
ground and giving her footing back so she can like get her life back.
I was like, I'll take you and my siblings in. Like I don't care what we have to do. Like you don't have to live like this. And she was just like, no, I can't do that. Like I want your siblings to have a father. And I'm like,
yeah, like 2% of a father, if that.
Like now he doesn't do the same things to them that he did like to me. Like they're able to live a completely different life. I came back, I didn't recognize it.
Which is so crazy to me.
They don't have to be home. Like they can go out, go wherever they want, do whatever they want. They're barely home. My sister's always at her friends, like living with her friends.
Do you feel like your dad like just wanted you to be like your mom 2.0?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because your mom still gets treated as she was before.
Yeah,
but just your siblings have always just like not really been like.
I don't know. He just never did anything to them because they minded their business. They were never involved in family problems, especially because of our age gap. They were a lot younger and they didn't know. So it's like for me, I've always known our family issues. I've always been advocating for them, and I watched my mother get treated like this. Like my siblings were too young, like
they didn't like
to remember.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And so like they live a completely different life. Like I don't know, maybe they still deal with things like on the outside, but my father isn't like stressed in the same capacity that he was like before. I'm sure he has outbursts, but it's not to the same level. And I'm not saying that I'm comparing, but they definitely have like a way better life than I did, and they have resources.
They're also not sent to like a Christian cult school.
Yeah, they have friends. Like that's why I noticed like when I was there for 3 weeks, like my sister was like barely home. Like she was like always going out. Sometimes she would stay at her friends, and I'm like, she does that because she didn't like it here. And I'm like, I get that. Like okay, but she holds like resentment for me, like for leaving. And at the end of the day, like I'll let her like grow up and like get a little bit older for her to understand and everything.
And also too, like it's like, oh, you left and stuff like that, and you said it's different for them, but who knows like what took place in the absence of
me,
you leaving and you not being there. Like he probably didn't do the same things, but there's certain things he probably turned. And imagine like your whole life you grow up not having to deal with that, and then you're now older to where you're aware of it, and it switches. Like even blaming, like I'm not saying that like his anger obviously went to your mom and stuff, but what if he stopped giving them this such cuddly vibe? Like what if they started to see him for like what he really was?
He wasn't like emotional or like there like as a dad. He just wasn't like physically.
He basically just didn't like hurt them.
He was definitely like he would be very like verbally and like emotionally like abusive, but he just wasn't like physical in the same sense like that it was for me growing up, because my father was like he was like working so much, like he was like the main provider for everything. And so he'd be like working 12-hour nights, or he'd be like working doubles and everything. And so like the next day, like he would take his stresses out on me, like coming back from work, all the stresses he had, he would take it out on me. And like now he's not working. He doesn't have life stresses that,
I feel
so
like
big.
I feel like it has to be deeper than life stresses, because like have you ever been stressed? I'm sure you've been like literally insanely stressed. For you to look at like for you to be under stress and then that's what you do, that's not a stress. You could say that it was caused by stress, but that's not caused by stress. That's something very like evil deep down.
You.
Yes.
He would always say, "You made me do this. You provoked me to do this." And it's never like, "Oh yeah, I did these things and these things are bad and I shouldn't have done them." It's no, it's your fault because you made me mad. You provoked me to do these things to you. And oh my God.
So I think your dad needs New Jersey Holistic Healing and Wellness.
He definitely needs to be diagnosed with like, cause I'm pretty sure he's bipolar. I told him this the last time.
Well, when you can't, so to me, and I've talked about this before, when somebody's bipolar, you don't know how to regulate your emotions, and that's what the spikes and the drops are.
Yeah.
So like his bipolar tendencies definitely are. He does not regulate his emotions.
Yeah.
But it's to a severity that it's like
it's not acceptable. Like
no,
it's just not okay.
You don't hurt people. Like I don't care. And for it to be like mother of your children and then your oldest child to where like, and then you're hurting your kids so bad that the government gets involved or state level, like however it goes, and then you get mad at your child for that.
For talking about it, yeah.
Then stop doing it. Oh, but we're not going to stop doing it.
It was, I've never done any of this like this before. She's lying. She needs attention. And I'm like, oh my God.
You think this is the attention I want? No, actually, I would rather just have loving parents.
Yeah, that's like the bare minimum of like
Hugs,
what every child would
want.
Know,
normal school.
Yeah.
Outside air.
I want to like fight for my life when I'm like so young like that.
Over and over and over
for
again.
It. Yeah.
Being ripped out of my bed by my ankles. That's still stuck with me, by the way.
Like literally like he was so mad because like I didn't wake up. I didn't hear the bell ring to let him inside. And so he broke our apartment door down, broke the bedroom door down because it was my first time like sleeping alone by myself at night and I was scared of the dark. So I locked the door. He broke that down, ripped me out of the bed from my ankles. I woke up like from my sleep, like being ripped out of my bed.
And like that trauma gets like stored in your brain of being.
And then he beat me after, like, and I was like, okay.
Right off the wake up.
I remember this one thing that will stick in my brain forever.
Crazy.
To like give like a background for other people. I remember every day I had to vacuum the house every single day, the whole apartment. I had to vacuum it every day. Yes, every day. And mind you, we wouldn't even be there most of the day. We would be like out at our cold school and stuff. So every day I had to vacuum and I would vacuum. Mind you, we didn't have money growing up. Like we were like financially struggling. So my father would like get things out of the trash. So the vacuum we had was out of the trash and he fixed it or something. The belt was broken and so he fixed it.
Yeah.
And I would vacuum and you could leave, like when you vacuum a carpet, you can see the marks on the rug showing that you vacuumed. When he came home like from the gym one day, there was one black string on the bedroom floor. And he pulled me in, yelling at me, saying that I didn't vacuum. And I was like, I promise I vacuumed. Like, I did everything. He was like, no, you didn't because there's a black string here. And he literally beat the shit out of me because there was a black string on the floor saying that I didn't vacuum. And you could see the marks, seeing like that I did vacuum. I brought the vacuum to him because he told me I needed to do it again in front of him. I was vacuuming, and it wasn't picking up the string. And then that's when I felt like a shift in the air. He like softened a bit because he felt guilty because he realized that the vacuum is broken. He was like, give it to me. And then he was like trying to do it himself and it didn't work. And then he told me to get out because it was broken. And then he threw out the vacuum the next day and had to get another one, but he never acknowledged it.
Then he just beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, he never apologized.
Even if you did lie and you didn't vacuum, it still didn't warrant for you to get the shit beat out of you. But then also for you to like literally prove it to him, and he can't apologize.
Yeah.
1 for the beating, but 2 for being wrong. It's just there's deeper.
And like for my mother, those things were justifiable. Like, oh, he's mad. Like, oh, you didn't vacuum correctly. You left that black string.
Because that's what she had told herself to be able to get through what she puts up with.
Yeah, because it was just normal for her. She had to do it for me as well. It doesn't make it acceptable, but
no. It doesn't make it acceptable, and there's no but. It doesn't make it acceptable.
Yeah.
You're just a very understanding person. Somewhat, I could tell you that you are a little too empathetic, but it's okay because it's who you are. Yeah. I've learned that you can work on it as much as you want. It's not going to go away.
No.
Like us last night staring at the raccoon. So like there was like this little baby raccoon walking in circles. Something was wrong with it. Most people would be like, okay, it has rabies. Don't go near it. And we're like, step. We're like tiptoeing. We're like, da-da. I'm like, can I put it in a box and bring it inside? I'm like thinking in my head. I'm like, you don't want to like leave it there. Like, you know, like whatever.
But it was a baby, and I was like, what if its mom comes back for it?
We played all these scenarios, and it's like, we had no business. Go home, go inside, no business. And even like with people, like people will really wrong me, and I'm like, oh. But
I can fix you. I know why you wronged me.
What did I say last night when I couldn't get the raccoon? I hate when I can't fix something.
Yeah.
No, sometimes it's not your job to fix.
Because as eldest daughters, like, we tend to be like fixer-uppers.
Yeah.
Or
when you're raised to fix things. No, it's actually not my monkey, not my circus, not my circus, not my monkey. I don't know which way it goes. This is something I have really learned. I'm not meant to fix everybody.
Yeah.
Especially you cannot fix something that does not want to be fixed.
Exactly. That's what
You want to stay broken?
That's why I ended up going no contact with my family. And I was like, I can try to save you as much as you want.
Yeah.
But if you're drowning and I try to save you and you just try to drown me anyway, no matter how much I'm trying, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And so I decided to like step away and I went no contact for a bit. Eventually, when I broke it, I had to redo it again after 3 weeks because of the dishwasher incident. And then I've just been focusing on myself for now because I don't want any of that like in my life. It's just,
good for you,
it's not worth it.
Because now you fill up your life with so many other things. You travel the world. Can we talk about that for a second? I know we have about like 10-ish minutes, but I do want to talk about like, okay, like, so everybody just heard a scratch of the surface of like what you went through.
Yeah.
I want people to understand that like it doesn't stay like that, and it does. So you travel the world. Can you tell me like your favorite places you've been to?
So my ultimate like favorite place would be Guatemala. When I was in nursing school, I decided to randomly go to Guatemala by myself. My partner, who's my fiance now, he looked at me. He was like, "You're going by yourself? Let me try to come with you." But his work schedule didn't allow it. And he's like, maybe you shouldn't go like by yourself. Like you've never been outside, like
outside at all.
Mind you, I literally grew up within the same walls like my whole life, and I was just like, I want to go to Guatemala. I saw a video on the internet, on TikTok. I'm doing it, and
you went.
I went there. I hiked an active volcano. I have it tattooed on my ankle. And literally, like, I was just the most healing. Like, doing a solo travel trip, especially to, like, a country like Guatemala, was so healing for me.
Yeah.
And I found the culture of backpacking. And I realized that people, like, travel the world for a living. And it's not, like, break your bank expensive. And I was like, I want to do this. And then ever since then, like, I came back from the trip. I told my fiance, I was like, listen, I know I just got back. After I finish my semester, I'm going to Asia. Either you can come with or not, but either way, I'm
Did he come with you?
Yes, he quit his job to go with me.
And back. This is like, he does really love you.
Yeah, he like, really does love me.
You're locked in for life.
Yeah, and he was making money doing that, and it was so stable, so easy for him.
Yeah.
And he was like, if you go, like, we could get disconnected. Like, I don't want that. And he was like, I want to go with you. And then he literally quit his job. And
it was, I would say it was well worth it. And I think people don't, and I think too, for you to be in your, like, let's say 4 walls of your home, and to be like growing up like, okay, I'm never getting out, to finally being like,
going out to another country.
I cut the no contact, I cut it off, and you got out to the point that you're literally going to Guatemala, you're going to Asia.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what is one tip you would give people who want to get into backpacking, like where to start? Was there like somebody that you watched online? Was there?
So I watched this creator, Girls Going World or something.
Okay.
Like
we'll find it and we'll put the link into this.
So I ended up watching her. I saw her one video and it was Guatemala, and I was like, she went there, I'm going there. And I went there and I met a ton of people that do it. Honestly, like, TikTok has changed my life in the way that, like, I see all these people actually backpacking and doing this stuff. And literally just look through the internet, find a country that you want to go to that you think would do it, and, like, you have the money to do it. Like, it's affordable, like, your first time trying it. Stay at a hostel. Don't go to, like, a fancy hotel.
Yeah.
Like, if you're young and you want to, like, meet people, stay at a hostel, like, do a dorm or a private room, whatever. You can meet people, talk to people, and literally network through that.
Yeah.
And you're going to meet so many people that literally do it for a living.
You're like basically proving the whole like the idea of getting out. You're like, no, actually I'm going to do my big one.
Yeah.
I'm out and about and I'm abroad.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, like literally
grew
love
up,
that.
Like, in the same 4 walls my whole life.
And I hope just anybody hearing this that can like,
you don't have to be stuck.
You don't, like, not at all. And we're not saying that you getting out, you're going to Guatemala, but just know that it's very possible.
It's very possible.
Because it's not like you had all these super insane resources at the time, right? Either. It was just kind of like, no, I'm doing this and I'm going to do everything I can. You were in nursing school still. Or,
yeah.
Did you leave while you were in nursing school?
Yeah. People looked at me crazy because everyone's like studying like so much for nursing. No. everyone was going to spring break, like going to Florida. I was like, I'm going to go to Guatemala. Ever since then, I started traveling all the time during my semesters. I'd be like, okay, I can miss one clinical. I'm going to miss a clinical and like build up this and miss a lecture and go to another country. Like for my 21st birthday.
If you want to do it, you can. I always tell people whatever you want to do in life, you fully can. And like you're like
going everywhere, like to
as
other
you
countries.
Should. And it's good for you. It's really good for you with everything that you've gone through. It's good for you to finally like get to see so much. I was gonna say, and it's like freedom.
Like freedom.
Like free, you know, like the song, the sound that I'm thinking about on TikTok. Like we're chronically online, you guys. It's social media influencers.
I feel like that's why I like to travel so much, because I was just so confined when I was younger, and it just gives me a sense of freedom. But also, I'm able to like meet so many people, and I wasn't able to have like friends growing up because of my cult school. It was like only 4 of us in high school, and so like literally, I get to meet so many people. I get to like see like different cultures, try different foods, talk to the locals. And I'm like, this is what living
is supposed to be, and it's supposed to be.
Living can be different for everyone. That doesn't mean that you have to like listen to this and be like, oh, I have to travel the world. Like,
no,
it could be anything.
But find your whys and your reasons.
Yeah, don't ever keep yourself into this small bubble thinking that you can't do this, because literally, like, I was homeless, like living off the street, like showering at Planet Fitness to like be clean and go to work and go to nursing school, because I couldn't come into those things smelling bad and everything. I had to be professional, and like I was doing all of those things like at the deepest like trenches, darkest points of my life. And it's like now today, like I'm 22, I'm engaged, and I'm in a healthy relationship, thank God. Thank God. And I graduated nursing school. I have my nursing degree. No one can ever take that away from me. And like I do content like full time. I travel the world, like I backpack the world. Like this is a miracle story is what I feel like. And I just
But it happened because of you.
Yeah.
Like things helped you, but you did that.
Yeah, and I want to share it because like I never thought I would ever be here. Like at 18, I never thought I would ever do anything like this before.
Yeah.
I was so stuck. Like I was like, my life is going to be ruined. Like I'm going to have to go to a homeless shelter. I'm not going to be anybody. And so now like I share my story because literally all it took was 4 years for me to like completely change my life. It's not even recognizable. So it's like you can do anything you want to do.
2022. So it's only been like 2-3 years.
Yeah, see?
And my entire life is changed by me. Like, and obviously there's things like the career and the things that come with it that like help boost that and allow us to do so many things too. I also want to say like you just gave like the perfect outro, so I'm not going to take this too long. Like that was like the perfect. I always ask people like what's your last message to people, and I felt like you just gave that entire. I'm like sitting here and I'm like,
throw the cards out.
We're done. I was like, I'm not gonna like pull on this long. I think that's like a really good way to wrap this up. And just like I said, if anything that was said that you feel related to, again, apologizing if anything was ever triggering. Melissa talks a lot about this stuff online. She's always there. You basically kind of like use your life as a resource for other people to get through things. And I just want to say,
like a big sister to like someone.
Because you didn't have.
Yeah, I didn't have a big sister.
That's why I say a mother, because I didn't have. Well, I had a mom, but I didn't have anybody like above me. So I would say like I'm a mom. But that's why I'm learning about herbs and stuff, because I want to be like Mother Nature.
Yeah,
I'm taking the branding to a serious level.
We grew up mothering our mothers.
Yes.
Now we want to mother ourselves and take care of ourselves.
And then I also just want to take care of like, everybody says, because my last name's Kid, that it's like my kids, and I'm like, but also they're like really grown adults, so I'm like, okay, they're like in their 30s and 40s, and I'm like, but it's like really, it's just like, I just like want to hug everybody, and like we're all here, we've all gone through a lot of shit, none of us are alone, and we all can achieve the life that we swear we weren't going to achieve.
Yeah, and you don't have
two people right here that literally did it.
You don't have to feel embarrassed about your past. No. It's like, yeah, just because you grew up like this and it was your childhood, it's not your fault. It was your adults in your life like failing you.
Because the first part of your life, it's really out of your hands. When you're a kid and you're growing up, and even a teenager, like, yeah, you're you're not an adult, but you can make, sound decisions. But at the same time, like, the things that I know now, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, who thought she knew everything, you didn't know shit.
Anything.
You didn't know shit. Oh my God, you thought
you have a lot to learn growing up.
And now in my 20s, I'm like, I'm going to be 30 and 40 looking back like, holy shit. You thought you knew everything at 20. And that's how it's supposed to be. You're never supposed to stop changing.
Constantly growing, constantly working on yourself. And for me, I'm very big on like talking about these issues. Don't be ashamed of them. It's not your childhood trauma is not your fault, but it's your responsibility to heal from it.
And as always, you can reach out to anybody from Get Well Soon. As I always say, reach out to Melissa. I'm going to throw her in here as a resource. We actually have something in our link in bio that is like our resource center. I'm actually going to put your Instagram so that people can come and talk to you. So, and if you get like the crazy people, sorry, they count too. Crazy people are people, but
yeah, they are.
Talking about social media, all of our socials are tagged. The Get Well Soon podcast, the Get Well Soon brand. You can find everything always tagged, linked. We'll have Melissa stuff, like we said. New Jersey Holistic Healing and Wellness is resource. And if this is your first time tuning in, if somebody sent you the podcast, give them a thank you. I hope that you guys have listened this far in. And this was a really good, every guest that's sat down so far this season, I'm like, and we already need a part 2 because there's so much more. Like I could sit and film for like 6 hours, but does it feel like it's been 2 hours?
It doesn't.
Yeah. It's like, and when we like take it off, it's like, whoa. It's like, wait, we're back to real life. We're out of our little bubble. But thanks.
Bubble. It's safe.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you for doing it. You're doing amazing things, Tyler. Like, I don't know.
Stop.
As an eldest daughter, like, you're so strong and you're doing so many things. You're breaking so many cycles and you creating this space.
I'm like, you're making me uncomfortable. Like how
I get the same way, trust me. But
think
you need to hear it more so that you can like really believe that you deserve these things and believe it within yourself because you are doing amazing things and I'm very, very, very proud of you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It means more to me than I'll show, but thank you. No, are you tearing eye?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Wait, are you? No. I'm like, don't start because I really.
No,
I'm like,
we're not doing that.
You
right
saying
now.
though that this was a safe bubble, like that really means a lot to me. Because when I say like create this space, I'm literally dedicating my life to creating this space. Mm-hmm. I could go on and on about it, but I was given a lot of second chances, a lot of third, fourth, fifth chances. So I'm doing the most. So for you to go through what you go through and sit with me and be like, one, comfortable enough. Like yesterday, we were just going. We were rapid fire. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody listening also feels the same way. I am so excited for season 3, and I can't wait to see you guys next Sunday. We love you. Even if you're like, well, Melissa doesn't know. She does now. And now you know Melissa.
Yeah.
You know her.
I just put my whole life out there. I mean, there's more to it, but that's
a whole Melissa, it's a series. Maybe I said a documentary. Netflix, you know where to find her. I love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.